Welcome back to Gen Z Insights. I'm Glenn. Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 players of all time for their respective positions. I went ahead and made a slideshow, put my list of player pools, and obviously put my list of who I think the top 5 players of all time are at their position. Please let me know what you think. Please make sure to like this video. It'll help out tremendously with mainly just me feeling better about myself. But also make sure to subscribe if you're new. It'll help out the channel tremendously. And comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I'm accurate. Let me know where I'm wrong. I love to interact with all of you guys, so just comment below and I'll be there to reply. But let's get right into the slideshow here. Like I said, I went ahead and I did make a player pool just so you guys can see the players I'm choosing from. I did take a list off the internet, some current and obviously all-time players. I made my own personal list. So obviously, Gen Z Insights Breakdown begins now. So for the point guard player pool here, we have Magic Johnson, which is heavily considered #1 for many. Isaiah Thomas, Oscar Robertson, triple double king, Jerry West, the logo, Stockton, all-time assist leader, Curry, best three-point shooter ever, Chris Paul, one of the most beloved point guards of all time, Nash as well, Iverson, one of the most impactful player of all time, and then Kyrie, probably the most skilled, sickest handles of all time, and Westbrook, just a madman, just obviously the triple double king, right above Oscar Robinson. And then we have the shooting guard player pool. We have MJ. This list looks shorter because the names are shorter, but it's the same amount. But MJ, Kobe, Wade, Ray Allen, one of the best three-point shooters of all time, Miller as well, Clay as well. All these guys are great shooters. Drexler, then we have James Harden, Gervin, and Beal was on the list as well. I don't think he deserves to be in this conversation. Not yet, but I did put him on the list for the player pool. Small forward player pool, we have LeBron, Larry Bird, KD, Julius Irving, Baylor, Scottie Pippen, Wilkins, Kawhi, Rick Barry, and John Havlicek. All very good players. And I do want to let you guys know before you see my official list, this is based off of their resumes about their skill and the competition they played against, how I think their skill would fare in today's game. A lot of things are in play and are in factor in my head for picking these lists. I'll let you know when we go through the list exactly what I'm thinking. Power forward, we have Malone, Duncan, Charles Barkley, Rodman, Garnett, McHale, Nowitzki, AD, Draymond was on there as well. Elvin Hayes, Bob Pettit. I think Draymond's one of the best defenders of all time, especially power forward defenders, but not in the top 5 power forwards of all time. Absolutely not. And then for centers, we have Bill Russell, Kareem, Shaq, Hakeem, David Robinson, Chamberlain, Reed, Ewing, and Walton. And I do want to point out and mention the centers of the past are the all-time great centers. If you see, there's no new centers that are on this list. You can maybe put Giannis on here, but he's not quite a center. He could play center, but he's not one. And that's something that we need to, pay homage to, pay respect to. The center play was a level above what today's game is. The skill might have not been there, but it was very successful, very valuable, and we have to give it up to the older players. So all these guys, thank you so much. Obviously, with me being 22 years old, I didn't get the chance to watch a lot of these guys play live. It's harder for me to rank it, but obviously I go back, I watch highlights, I look up stats, I hear how players talk about other all-time players, and that's how I kind of get my list together. But respect to all the all-time greats. And so now we have Gen Z Insights top 5 point guards of all time. So I know this is going to be a bit controversial, but for #1, I do have Steph Curry. He doesn't have as many rings as Magic. He didn't win a ring his rookie year, subbing from point guard to center to fill in for Kareem. That's things Steph can't do. But I just think overall, as Steph has won championships, he impacts the game more than anybody. He has better handles. He can shoot, obviously, better than everyone, like I said, but he pulls more defensive attention. He leaves other players more wide open. His passing is great. It's not as great as Magic's, but I just believe his overall impact is. I would rather have Steph, but I get why you'd rather have Magic for passing and for defensive purposes. But this is my personal list as well. I just believe Steph has the chance to win some more championships. He's already the best shooter of all time, and he's at least the second best point guard of all time. But for me personally, I would rather have him #1. Obviously, Magic speaks for itself. 5-time champion, had to retire early, challenged Michael Jordan even later in his career for still being the best player ever. I think number 2 is right where he should be. Great player, all-time great. He will be in this top 5 list for a long time to come. I do have Isaiah Thomas. He's another champion on the list. He led the Detroit Pistons as champions. Good defender, stick handles, could shoot, could pass as well, has the entire game. And when he played, he was a force, and he was forced to be reckoned with until his injury. And then we have Robertson. I just believe his triple doubles are something that are slept on. I think he's one of the best point guards of all time. Make sure to go out and check his highlights. Very, very good player. Really inspired a lot of these players like Westbrook, like LeBron. And I just believe he deserves to be 4th. And then number 5, I have Iverson. That's me for me personally. I love Iverson. I used to watch his highlights growing up. I think he's one of the best players of all time. And I just love his style. Like I said, one of the most cultural, impactful players of all time, for all kids, all ages, all different sizes. So, but if we are talking pure point guard, I would understand why Iverson wouldn't be on this list. This is just a personal preference for me. But if we're talking about pure point guard, I would say CP3. And like I said, it's kind of like Steph and Magic. John Stockton has the all-time career assist record, but I would still go with CP3. I just like his game more. His game translates into today's game perfectly. Obviously, he's a little older now. He's not as young, but a young CP3 in today's game is amazing. And that's just me personally. I would pick CP3 over John Stockton. I think CP3 gives you the leader advantage, but also gives you that defensive advantage there. But let me know what you guys think. Where am I right and where am I wrong? Next, we're going to go to the shooting guard positions. So MJ, that's pretty easy. I don't think too many people are going to complain. Kobe, number 2. Don't think too many people will complain. 6 championships, 5 championships, 2 of the best players ever. If we're ranking just the top 5 players, easily could both be in the top 5. I put James Harden over Dwayne Wade. That could be a little controversial. I just really believe Harden has done more. He's won MVPs. He hasn't won a Finals MVP like Dwayne Wade. But regular season, his stats, his being able to get players involved, scoring, better at any level from 3-point mid-range or the free throw line or a layup. I just think Harden can score in every way better. Dwayne Wade is a better defender. But as far as if you want to start a franchise with one player and however many accolades or however far you get in the championship, if you're basing it off that, I am going off Harden. I think he leads a team farther than Dwayne Wade does, carrying a team by himself. But Dwayne Wade is absolutely amazing. That's why he's on my number 4 here. He's absolutely incredible. And I have Clay below him because of the exact same thing. I feel like Wade can, take the ball off the dribble, score, play make, facilitate. He can also defend. He can just do a little bit more than Clay. But I love Clay at this number 5 spot. Obviously, if we're going back to look at the other shooting guards, you might say, why isn't Ray Allen in there? He's a champion. And for me, I just feel like Clay's a better shooter. I really, really do. More consistent, big time shot maker, big time playoff gamer. He plays absolutely amazing, and I personally would have Clay number 5. If he could, take the ball off the dribble, do a little bit more, he'd be even higher on this list. But he's the perfect shooting guard I think you could ever create, especially if you have other all-star players. He's perfect. He plays great defense, and he catches and shoots better than probably the second greatest shooter of all time, in my opinion. So for top 5 small forwards, I do have LeBron James number 1. I think that's pretty easy to understand now, but I understand why, some people who have nostalgia about the 90s and grew up watching 90s, I can understand why you'd have Bird 1. But LeBron has more championships, more everything, more points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, everything. I think he shoots better from the field. He might shoot better from 3. That Bird could have him there, but he just does every single thing better. So I can't really let anyone make that argument. And then KD, you could argue, Bird has more championships. KD ran to Golden State. That's the only reason why he has a champion. But if you're being honest with yourself, if you had to choose between one or two of them, say I get a pick, I pick KD, you pick Bird. Now we have to make the rest of our teams with role players. I'm going to win that game. That's all I have to say. KD is unstoppable, one of the best scorers of all time. In my opinion, probably the second or first best scorer ever. And then Bird's legacy, though, it speaks for itself. I'm not trying to discredit him. He's a 3-time champion, and he's the 3rd greatest small forward of all time. Scottie Pippen, he didn't do as much as Bird. He wasn't a star player. Well, he was a star player. He wasn't a superstar player. Played amazing defense. Scored 18 points per game, 6 championships. He definitely deserves to be in here. And then it was really between Irving. It was between Irving, Baylor, and Wilkins. Obviously, Dr. J. He actually had won a championship. I believe he won an MVP as well. I just think he had more on his resume, and he proved that he is a champion. And overall, like I said, this is my list, my personal list. I just think Irving was more flashy. I liked watching his highlights. I like his game, the way he talked, the way he handled himself. He was an inspiration for me as well. So I had to put Irving here. So now we have top 5 power forwards of all time. Duncan, number 1, 5-time champion, almost 6-0 if it wasn't for Ray Allen's shot. Don't think you can disagree. Malone, one of the best scorers of all time. I know he doesn't have a championship, but I just think he was really impactful, durable for a long time. I had to put him number 2. Nowitzki, he actually led the team to a championship himself, as well. Garnett did not. He was a huge catapult. He was a defensive mastermind, but Nowitzki led a team offensively by himself to win a finals. I had to put him over Garnett. And I had to put Garnett over Barkley because he's a champion. Defensively, he is worlds above Barkley. Barkley is a great player. He's a great offensive player, a rebounder, but I had to put him a step below because he wasn't a champion. And because if I was to choose a team, I would pick Garnett. I want that intensity more than I want Barkley's scoring power. But I want Nowitzki's European scoring power slightly more than I want Garnett's defensive mentality. Let me know what you guys think, though, because that is definitely debatable. And then for the top 5 all centers, Genzinsights had Kareem number 1, 6-time champion, best college player of all time, leads the league in all-time scoring. I can't not have him number 1. Shaq, me personally, I had to put him at number 2. He's one of my favorite centers of all. He is my favorite center of all time because I actually got to watch him play a lot more than these other guys, and that's mainly the reason I have him at number 2. But overall, I mean, he's a 4-time champion. He's a 3-time final MVP. He's a regular season finals MVP, and he's just a beast. He can rebound, he can score. In his prime, he was a 30 and 15 guy. I just love Shaq, and I respect him so much. But I understand if you have him at 3 or 4, because Russell has 11 championships. He could easily go above Shaq. I just say put Shaq into Russell's era, and he probably is going to do the same thing. He might not get as many championships, but it's going to be close. Shaq is a beast. But I could understand if you have Russell number 3. Will, I had him at 4 under Russell just because when he went against Russell, he always got dominated. He never played as great as he did against the other players. And I had to put Russell's 11 championships over what Wilt did in his career. But then just the sheer fact of Wilt's overall stats and the insanity that it was, he has to be number 4 over Hakeem for me. Hakeem's amazing. I believe he's a 2-time champion, one of the best centers of all time. But those stats that Wilt did put up are just cartoon numbers, and I do respect it. Obviously, it was a long time ago, and it was against a lot of undersized players, but the stats are ridiculous. I think one day, 5, 10, 15 years from now, Wilt will go off that top 5 just because we will understand, what that era was. But I just had to give him his respect there. So I have Kareem, Shaq, Russell, Wilt, and Hakeem. So let me know where you guys differ from all of these lists: the point guards, the shooting guards, the small forwards, power forwards, and centers. I want to know what you guys think. Where did I completely mess up? Or do you guys think I'm completely right? I'm making this based off of their resumes, my personal opinion, their impact, era. So many factors go into play here. So let me know what you guys think. But please, like I said in the beginning, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. I just want to grow this channel as much as I can. I want to give you guys as much entertainment and quality opinions on sports and professional sports that I can. So just make sure to follow and interact on all of our socials. I will be personally responding to every single comment. So leave a comment and I'll get right back to you as soon as I can. It's at Genzinsights Inc. at Twitter and Instagram. And like I said, just let me know your thoughts and your comments in the comment section below. I will be responding to everybody, and I hope everyone enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to come back and check out the next video. It will be a new video every day at 3 p.m. I want to have consistent and more content to put out there for you guys. And as soon as the NBA season starts, I guarantee you guys are going to be very happy with what comes out. But other than that, thank you so much for joining today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But other than that, thank you for tuning into Gen Z Insights. I'm Glenn, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you, and have a good day.